Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Are you listening to the right podcast? Because you're supposed to be listening to Three Guys in a Flick. Are you listening to that right now? Then you're in the right place. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark. Because whoever that man is, good character or bad, he's going to change the world.
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys and a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Man of Steel. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from the streets of Metropolis, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Up and away.
And to my left, we have the professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, you know that world engine is probably going to kill all of us, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we probably fucking move?
I don't know. It's kind of got a good beat to it.
Oh, fucking A. Tonight we are talking about Man of Steel. Man of Steel comes to us via the Bronco helmet and was submitted by Daniel R. So thanks, Daniel, for throwing that in there. This one's for you. Released on June 14th, 2013, Man of Steel was directed by Zack Snyder. Screenplay by David S. Goyer. Story by David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan. And it stars Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon, Kevin Costner, Diane Lane, Lawrence Fishburne, Christopher Meloni, Russell Crowe, and a bunch of other comic book characters.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for $258 million and brought in $670 million.
So we'll say that it did a little bit better than the original 1978 series?
Yeah, probably just by a little bit. So,
Yeah, well, domestically that year, it only made $291 million. So it just barely cleared its budget.
yeah, so ha. Did you guys see this in the theater?
Totally.
Very confident that I did, yes.
Wow, I can't believe you two. I sat right in the middle between us.
Yes.
Yeah, we all saw it together in the theater.
Yes.
That's what my point was. Would you guys remember thinking?
I really enjoyed it a lot. And watching it again for this pod, once again, I really enjoyed it a lot. I know that it was mired in a lot of wishy-washiness from people.
Sure. What about you?
Me being the comic book purist, I had a few issues here and there. I thought Henry Cavill was one of the best Supermans I've seen, bar none. I didn't enjoy the story of it. And I thought there was a little too many issues with the story.
Sure. I remember thinking, hey, as long as it's better than Superman Returns, I'll be happy. And I was very pleasantly surprised.
I would agree with that.
And I'm a big Superman guy, as most of the listeners know, and we've already done the 78 version. This was meant to be a reboot of the Superman lore, right? And it was going to be the start of the DCEU, DC's attempt to catch Marvel?
Yeah, because Marvel is running like gangbusters these days, during this time.
Yeah, for sure.
And they went out of their way to make it clear that this was not the previous Superman. This was nothing like the previous Superman. They didn't even call the movie Superman. They just called it Man of Steel. They didn't bring back the iconic Superman theme. And they went out of their way to make it different. And didn't even include the red underwear.
And I think some of that is due to Christopher Nolan being on board. And while this is being made, he's in post-production of The Dark Knight Rises, which means The Dark Knight's already been out and Batman Begins is already out. Mm-hmm. And when you hear that Christopher Nolan is attached to a Superman movie, I was like, fuck yes, I'm in, right? And, you know, it being called a Man of Steel didn't really surprise me because it was The Dark Knight, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought they were trying to, there's like a parallel there. However, the Dark Knight trilogy doesn't exist in the DCEU, so bullet dodged. Yeah, Zack Snyder directs this. What do you guys think of Zack Snyder?
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He made some choices that were interesting, like, getting rid of, at least in this movie, Superman's no-kill policy, and little things like that, the way that he he fought for that. He wanted Superman to kill in this movie.
I know. And Christopher Nolan said, I don't think that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And then David Goyer said, don't worry, Chris, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And he looks at Zach and gives him the thumbs up, and we got what we got.
Yeah, and I guess Zack in an interview even said he thinks about 5,000 people died in this movie.
I would probably guess maybe more, but we'll get there. This isn't our first Zack Snyder movie, is it? Oh, no, I reviewed 300, but
Well,
you fuckers didn't.
No, you watched 300 for a movie that we haven't reviewed.
Yeah, well, I reviewed it in my head. How about that?
Did he do Suicide Squad?
No.
Okay, then this might be our first.
Yeah. Looking at his filmography,
He's got some good ones out there. Some of the ones that jumped out at me was 300, Watchmen, the Justice League movie, the extended version too.
all comic book movies, listeners.
Of course.
I liked his remake of Dawn of the Dead. Did you ever see that?
Pretty sure I did.
It was a lot of fun for a zombie flick. And then 300 comes out, and you're thinking, okay. And I think that Zack Snyder has a very particular visual style.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes he's more style over substance. However, one of what I think is an underrated Zack Snyder movie is Sucker Punch. So
I like that movie.
Listeners, Sucker Punch in the Broncos helmet, please and thank you.
You can see the 300 in this movie. He brought in the trainers to work with Henry to get him in shape. And so I felt like he almost looked like Leonidas. The style, the hairy chest, everything kind of felt that way.
Interesting. I never once thought that. I never once thought of Leonidas whilst looking at Superman. So, yeah, there you go.
So, quick talk. What about the whole Justice League? You have the Justice League movie, and then you have the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. Why do we have a Zack Snyder Justice League movie besides a Justice League movie?
Do you want the honors or do you want me to explain it?
You go ahead, sir.
So during the Justice League is filming, Zack Snyder's into it, and then they have a family tragedy. And so he has to leave the project, and in comes Joss Whedon. Do you know who Joss Whedon is?
Yes.
Okay. So Joss Whedon finishes the Justice League and makes a lot of changes that were not intended. And did you hear about the whole mustache debacle with
Yes.
Superman?
Mhm.
Okay, so those are the reshoots, right? And it comes out, it doesn't do all that great. And then a couple years later, fans start going, we want the Snyder cut. And HBO Max is becoming a thing. And HBO and Warner Brothers say, hey, let's make the fucking Snyder cut. And the Snyder cut is 4 hours.
Yeah, it is.
However, it is broken up into 4 parts, which I appreciate because you can watch and come and go as you please. I've seen the Snyder cut. I've seen the Whedon cut. The Whedon cut was tolerable. I thought it had its moments, and but I do dig the Snyder cut. It was a bit long, but I do dig it.
Well, let me ask you this. What Henry Cavill has been in 4 movies as Superman? If you count Shazam.
Okay.
Which
and Black Adam, so that's
I was going to
5.
say Black Adam.
which one do you think he appeared best as Superman?
Not Dawn of Justice, I can tell you that. Maybe this one, because it was his first time. But on the scale of Superman, Henry Cavill is my number 3.
I'd be interested. I know obviously who your first one is.
Yes.
Who is your second one?
The new guy.
The new guy.
I think he is so much more charismatic than Henry Cavill. But that's just me. That's just me.
Ken, do you have preferences or like which movie he appeared best as Superman?
This one, mostly because I don't have others to reference.
Yeah, he's only in the Justice League Wheaton cut for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
He's in at the end.
It's not that much.
And Dawn of Justice is just so kerfuffled. It's hard for me to pay attention in that film.
yeah, that was a distraction.
It's like they take the audience and they're opening their mouth as wide as they can and say, this is all of the DC lore we're going to shove down your throat so we can catch up to Marvel real quick and make a Justice League. So that's how I took it.
For me, I would agree with you. Man of Steel is probably his best role as Superman. I'm one of the few people who actually didn't hate Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. And Justice League, the parts he was in, I thought he did a really good job. But it's funny because, I put him in my top 2 of Superman. I didn't care for the new Superman very much.
Yeah, I know. I just feel bad for you. Let's talk about this cast a little bit. Henry Cavill.
Like I said, I really liked him. He was one of the first Superman I felt like that looked the role. He had the build. He displayed the emotions well. The gambit. I thought he did a really good job in this role. It's funny though. I guess people had talked about he was kind of cursed in Hollywood. He tried out for Batman and lost it. He tried out for Bond and lost it. Finally, he gets Superman.
Comes in second, and actually, he came into second for Superman too because Brandon Routh was cast.
Was he?
Yeah, Henry Cavill was the number 2 for Superman Returns. But thank you for not being Superman in that because you dodged a fucking bullet. What do you think of Soups?
He was really good in this. I really enjoyed him. He looked fucking chiseled, man. And I was previously, when you see Thor and he's shirtless, it's like, damn, that is one good looking man. But then you see Cavill here, it's just like, holy shit.
I know, right?
Yeah, they were like, they wanted him to get on like muscle drugs, like on steroids, or they're going to digitally enhance him. He said, no, I will get in shape for this movie.
And so that was all natural.
Yeah. For 6 months, he had a regimen where he was consuming 5,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And then by the time that he got down to that shirtless scene, he is somebody that is down to something like 3% body fat. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he did a good job. I thought he was better than Brandon Routh. And at the time, we really needed a good Superman movie. And I think this checked most of the boxes. I do like this film, and I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think his temperament is right. As you guys both said, he definitely has the look. And I bought the chemistry between him and all of the other characters.
He was the first non-American to play the Superman role.
Amy Adams, Miss Lois Lane.
I thought she felt like a reporter. I thought did an okay job.
Yeah, she was a great character.
And I know this is just me, but her not being a brunette kind of struck me funny for a little bit. Just for a little bit.
Okay, I get that because you grew up with black-haired Lois Lane.
Margot Kidder.
Well, the comic book, she was always black-haired too.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, but once she gets into character and she starts saying, I'm Lois Lane, then she starts, being the character, I bought into it. I thought she was a great Lois Lane.
Michael Shannon. What did you think of him as Zod?
I felt like he was trying too hard. I am of the generation where Terrence Stamp is General Zod, and there was that bar to live up to. And though at times Shannon's Zod came across as menacing and, scary, there were also times where he came across as whiny.
I was desperate throughout the entire movie for him to say the line.
Oh my God.
I was just,
Who wasn't, right? I think we were all kind of gearing up for it.
but they were so, desperate to keep the whole idea of the first movies out of this movie. They didn't want any connection to it, so they, of course, didn't put the line in.
Yeah, I know. What is the line?
Kneel before Zod.
Yes. Come, son of Jor-El, kneel before Zod.
I thought he, for his portrayal of Zod, it's actually pretty close to the comic book series at the time, which was they had a caste system on Krypton that you were born and programmed for a specific role. And, like Jor-El was born to be a scientist. Zod was born to be a military leader. He was programmed to be a military leader. And I thought he did a good job of conveying of he may not agree with everything he has to do, but he has to do it.
You know why you think he did a good job of conveying it?
Because I like the bad guys?
No. Because that's all of his fucking dialogue in the entire fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was bred for one purpose, Cal. You can't kill me, Jor-El. I was bred for one purpose.
I thought it
now that Krypton's gone, I don't have this purpose.
Yeah.
What purpose could I have? I was bred to... It goes on and on and on. He over-narrates.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not his fault. That's the writer's fault.
Yeah, I just thought he played kind of the tragic villain pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
A little bit crazy, too.
Yeah.
I think General Zod's character, the way that it was written, was it was adequate. It was there to be the foil for Superman.
Russell Crowe.
He nailed it here.
Who's going to step in and fill in for Marlon Brando? Oh, yeah, Russell Crowe. I fucking agree with you. Fucking nails it.
Yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job in his role as Jor-El. He
I
felt
loved
like that scientist-like character.
Did Superman's mom look familiar to you?
She looked very familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen her.
That is the Kingpin's wife from Daredevil.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Vanessa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kevin Costner.
Fuck.
The
Again,
man. The
nailed
man.
it.
Yes.
Fucking nailed it. My
Yeah.
favorite Jonathan Kent in any iteration of the films or TV.
I loved his acting. I thought he did a fantastic job. I don't agree with the role. I didn't like the role that they created for Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
I think there were some issues with some of the things like he said and did and do as I say, not as I do kind of motif.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, the man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was great.
Diane Lane, Ma Kent.
You know, I only know her for this. I don't remember her anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. I thought she was lovely. I don't know if she's my favorite Ma Kent. I like the mom from Smallville. Larry Fishburne.
It was an interesting choice for Perry White, but I thought he did a good job
Why is it an interesting choice?
because it's completely opposite of how he's always been portrayed in the comic books. He's always been an old white guy in the comic books, and they went with Lawrence Fishburne, which I thought was, it was an interesting, and again, I think he did a great job.
I think he nailed it. I think Lawrence Fishburne nails almost any role he's in, but I really bought him as Perry White, and I like that choice for sure.
Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah. Anyone else in this cast jump out at you?
Not as such.
All right. Well, then I want to dive into the piece of this film that I think saves it.
Okay, and then I have a question for you, both of you, after that.
What'd you think of the soundtrack?
Man, so good. Hans Zimmer totally makes this movie go.
So going into it, I'm thinking to myself, you have the John Williams score, and it's iconic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it when I heard Hans Zimmer's score. His score elevated the film and easily made it way better for me, which goes to show you the power of music, right? So Hans Zimmer, this is probably one of my favorite soundtracks.
It is so good.
Yeah.
That was going to be my exact question for you guys. Since they didn't include the John Williams famous, Superman kind of theme song, did that affect you at all watching this movie? Or like you guys said, no problem, you loved Hans Zimmer. I was hoping they would put in the John Williams, just that one little track.
Sure. But no, they wanted to stay away from it, and I think they were smart to do it.
The way that the emotion is conveyed in the tender moments, as well as the inspiring moments that we get in the heroics of Superman, just really, it's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, agreed.
I was struck that the three guys have only reviewed 2 other movies from 2013, The Wolf of Wall Street and Odd Thomas. What year have we reviewed? The three guys have reviewed the most. So you have, in no particular order, you have 2022, 2003, and 1987.
Is it 87, you think?
God, I was leaning towards 87, but I'm usually wrong on my guess, so I'm going to go 2003.
I think, 2022, that seems really recent for us to do that many films. I'm going to go with 1987.
I'm going with 2003.
All right. So 2003 and 1987 were the movie years that were tied. We reviewed 10 movies from each one of those 2 years.
We've reviewed 10 movies from 2022. That's amazing.
No.
The movies the years that we picked, we've done 10 movies each.
So 2003 and 1987, we reviewed 10 movies each.
Gotcha.
2022, we reviewed 11 movies.
That's crazy.
I was struck by that we reviewed that many movies from 2022.
I'm in shock right now.
I'm ready for some super trivia.
I got some super trivia here.
I can't wait.
All right, gentlemen, put on your thinking caps because I have some curious questions for you regarding the Man of Steel.
To prepare for this, I did wear my underwear on the outside of my pants.
Well played, sir. Well played. Question number 1. When Lois Lane arrives at the military site to investigate the anomalous object encased in almost 20,000-year-old ice, what country are we in?
Dawn, Canada.
Canada is correct. Point to Dawn. Question number 2. What is the name of the family dog that Jonathan goes back to rescue during the tornado?
Well, it ain't crypto.
Dawn, it's Henry?
That is not correct.
I don't even have a guess.
His name is Hank.
Oh my God, I was
I
going to
almost
fucking say
said-
Hank. God bless.
I almost said that. Damn it.
Question number 3. When General Zod confronts Martha Kent and wants the ship that Clark arrived to Earth in, what does she say in return?
Dawn, go to hell.
Point to Dawn. Question number 4. Where in the world does the world engine land and begin its work of
Dawn.
transforming the Earth into a habitable world for Zod, John?
No, I blew my water. Go ahead, bud.
Australia.
That is not correct.
Indonesia.
The Indian Ocean.
Oh, fuck. I thought they said Indonesia.
No, I think I remember Indian Ocean, but
Well, I do now.
It
shows
was-
you how into this movie I was.
But you love Henry Cavill, so I'm shocked.
Question number 5. How much money does General Swanwick tell Superman the surveillance drone he just destroyed is worth?
John, $12 million.
That is correct.
Are you effing stupid?
I'm sorry. I think he's kind of hot.
That was going to be part of my tiebreaker question, but it's not necessary because, Don, you win this week's round of trivia.
I am the Man of Steel. The film opens on the dying planet of Krypton. Years of reckless mining have destabilized the planet's core, and extinction is imminent. Krypton's leading scientist, Jor-El, believes his world is beyond saving, but its people might not be. As General Zod stages a military coup, Jor-El steals the Codex, the genetic blueprint of Krypton's future, and infuses it into his newborn son, Kal-El. In doing so, he makes him the first naturally born Kryptonian in centuries. Jor-El and Lara launch their son toward Earth, moments before Zod kills Jor-El and Krypton explodes. Kal-El's ship lands in Kansas, where he is adopted by Jonathan and Martha Kent and renamed Clark. As he grows, Clark discovers he has extraordinary abilities powered by Earth's yellow sun. Jonathan urges him to keep his powers hidden, fearing how the world might react. In a pivotal moment, Jonathan sacrifices himself during a tornado rather than let Clark reveal his abilities to save him. Haunted by guilt and confusion about his purpose, Clark leaves home and wanders the world searching for answers.
So we open to the birth of Superman, and that is definitely an intense moment, watching her give birth.
What I appreciate about this whole opening bit on Krypton is what Krypton actually looks like. The only real reference I had up until then really was the 78
Yep.
ice planet.
Yep.
Well, that's in the comic books. Originally, it was ice, but in the new version of it, the new 52, they made it more of a foresty kind of green planet.
Yeah. And I thought the animals were cool looking. I thought the planet was pretty cool.
It felt a little Star Wars to me, especially from the prequel series, that little flying.
Well, their
Mount
flying
thing?
creatures and their spaceships are one of my problems with this film. I feel like I've seen them before.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting, but hopefully not something that I've seen before. But we get Kal-El being born, and then Jor-El is,
Addressing the council.
you guys, this is madness.
Well, this was one of the first scenes that kind of bothered me because, again, as I mentioned earlier, there was a caste system. You're born into a specific role. Kal-El was the first natural birth in what they said, I think 1,000 years, because apparently they don't have sex on Krypton anymore. They just grow them like the Matrix. But so you're born into a specific role. You're either born as a scientist, on the council or in the military. Why wouldn't the council trust their scientists, especially their chief scientist who's telling them the planet's about to explode? And they're like, no, you're wrong. You're full of shit.
I could tell you, but you don't want to know.
Well,
It's ego, man.
yeah.
They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe that their world is dying, just like in the comics, right? I mean, the Council of Krypton has always been, nope, Jor-El, you're out of your fucking mind. And Jor-El's like, okay, dipshits.
Here comes General Zod.
And this introduces our story arc, really. General Zod's like, this council is done. We're taking over.
Well, he's kind of on Jor-El's side a little bit because he knows that the planet's going to blow up as well, and that the council has doomed them all, and that's why he's doing this coup to take over because the council has fucked things up so bad.
Yeah. And Jor-El's like, I'm not like this, bud.
He's like, wrong way.
Yeah, you're going to decide who is fit and who isn't fit? I don't think so, bud.
Well, I think it's also Zod has the idea of he's going to take over and do things right, and Jor-El's already basically told them, we're all doomed. We're all fucked. Now all we can do is try to get some people off planet.
Well, Zod wants the Codex.
Yeah.
Because he wants to rebuild Krypton. But, yeah. And I do like the line where Jor-El says, I will honor the man you once were, Zod, but not this fucking monster. Right?
Because they were friends back then. Do you know what Zod's first name is? Zod is actually his last name.
Hank.
Drew.
It's
Drew Zod.
Drew Zod. Did you know that?
No.
Now you do, bud. Now you do. And so Jor-El leaves and he's like, God damn it. I got to steal the Codex. I got to do this myself. Right? What do you guys think of this whole stealing of the Codex bit?
I didn't understand it, but I sensed that it was important because we're being shown this to us.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the Codex, do you want me to go into detail on it or just...
Not really, but if you can't go on without doing it, go ahead.
It's basically programmed into it the original genetic makeup of the perfect Kryptonian people or whatever. That's what they use for those birthing pods and everything. And that's why it's kind of this ancient skull, is because it's like back before all impurities and everything. It's like the perfect genetic thing. So he goes to get it because he figures he'll send it with Kal-El to possibly give him the choice of, do you want to rebuild Krypton?
And so he steals it and he escapes on his flying dragon.
Here comes Zod's men.
And I thought this was kind of an interesting action piece. The visuals were very nice, but what kept it moving was that score. And Hans Zimmer in this bit uses a percussion circle, and he's got like 10 famous drummers all drumming at once, right? And so, it kept us moving, and it was visually pleasing.
And they prepare the ship, and they say their goodbyes. And they put Kal-El into the ship, and here comes Zod's people.
And I think I had a problem with this. I get that Jor-El has to die, but I thought he died when the planet blew up. I didn't like the fact that they let Zod kill him. And then it was just kind of all melodramatic, right? Jor-El whoops his ass. Right?
I know that's the interesting thing is these guys are military trained. They are supposed to be the fighters of this planet. And here's the scientist whooping their ass.
Yeah, because he uses science to train and he is multifunctional. Jor-El was the man, I tell you. Unless we're talking about the new version, and then that's a whole other story.
And then Zod gets in that sucker punch with stabbing him.
Oh, what a fucking bitch, right?
Yeah.
You know, if Jor-El didn't do the little bit of monologuing, what have you done? Well, we've had a child, Zod. A boy child. Krypton's first natural birth in centuries. And, and his name is Kal-El, and just lays it all out for Zod.
Kind of like a Bond villain.
Do you think the fact that Jor-El is probably the only Krypton in 1,000 years who's actually gotten some, that everyone else is all pent up and that's why they're all like that?
You're assuming that nobody's getting down.
I don't think they're getting down at all.
Why?
Because there's no other kids.
Okay.
Natural birth.
Have you heard of birth control?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I think they're all they're pent up. Look at them. Look at Zod. He's all pent up.
No. To think that nobody on the planet is getting down is just plain gullibility.
Okay.
So Zod kills Jor-El like a little punk. And
then he gets captured.
And Lord, yeah, because he's about to blow up Kal-El's ship because it's getting away.
Right.
But the Kryptonians capture him. And then after this scene, I was kind of on edge a little bit because when they get sent to the Phantom Zone, I mean, let's just call it, they get sent up in big giant penises.
That's what I thought too.
How could nobody not think that?
Yeah, how did the people who designed that for this movie not think, yeah, that kind of looks like a big dildo?
And it's going up into a hole, right? Did we catch that too?
That's again why I think they were all pent up because they made dick ships.
All right, you might have a point there, but it kind of made it silly for me, and I didn't appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. It should have been a big flying mirror.
Way better than big 5, 6. I counted. I think there were like 8 of them because I was counting them.
Yes.
Because I thought you were going to make that a question.
I
thought about it.
I thought, were they dildos or were they butt plugs?
They look more like dildos.
Okay.
So yeah, they get sent into the Phantom Zone, and Krypton is
Destroyed.
Which I had to look this up, and kind of Zod says it a little bit in his or later monologue, but because of Krypton exploding, that was the only thing keeping them in the Phantom Zone. That's how they were able to escape the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, he says that when he monologues.
Yeah.
Like one of his 12th monologues.
Yeah.
And so it blows up. We see the planet blow up, and then we cut to
Clark reaching Earth.
And I like that bit.
The quick cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, in previous movie, they spent a lot of time showing his childhood. Here, I felt like they spent so much time showing Krypton that they turned around and just showed his childhood in flashbacks, which actually worked.
Absolutely. I appreciate that because the last thing I think any of us as audience members want is another drawn-out backstory or origin story. Sorry.
Yeah, the fact that we can get it sprinkled into the current story, little bits and pieces, nice.
Because we know the story. But even if you don't, this tells you it in a very coherent way.
So here we are, and Clark, he's working on a fishing boat. And he is a greenhorn, and then all of a sudden we are whisked over to a crisis, an oil rig is on fire.
And I like how the captain's like, Greenhorn, fetch me my binoculars.
But he's not there.
No, because he's already on the fucking oil tanker.
The one thing that I thought was kind of interesting here is, later on we see when the bully tries to push Clark down, he can't even push him. Yet this guy knocks him down to get out of the way of the crabbing cage.
I chalk it up to Clark was ready for the push from the bully, but he didn't see the tackle coming.
Okay.
So that's how I took it.
So back to the oil rig. He's climbing up there, and he shows up, and he's engulfed in flames, and he finds these workers.
Because he's saving them.
Yep.
He leads them up to the chopper, and
To the chopper.
and as they're all getting ready to go, the structure pretty much is falling.
Right.
And
it's
so
gonna
he
collapse
jumps
on top of
and
the...
yeah. And what I like about this Superman, what I will give Cavill a lot of props for, is when he screams, like the force of it, it feels authentic.
Oh,
it feels
yeah.
like something
Each
that
time we
Superman.
get that.
Yeah, it feels like something that Superman would really have to, get into. And the oil rig blows up, and he falls into the water.
And this is where we have one of our first flashbacks.
Yes.
The first flashback to when he's a kid.
And yeah, and then when he's a kid, it kind of shows, his powers coming on, and he gets his super hearing and x-ray vision.
And it freaks the shit out of him.
And he runs into a broom closet, locks his door, and then we meet Ma Kent, and she's very tender and caring and loving, and she tries to break it down for him to help him. And he can hear all the other kids going, this dude's a freak, blah, blah, blah.
The world's too big, Mom.
But she does teach him to focus his powers, like just on her and one thing, and tune everything else out.
Yeah.
This is my first moment where we get the piano score.
Oh, stop it.
It's the first one.
It's fucking stop it, dude. I can listen to that song driving and it'll bring a tear to my eye. I fucking love that theme. This is Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Mom talking to him about the island.
Make it small. Focus on my voice. So good.
I do feel like this is maybe our first foreshadow or callback later to, seeing how affected he was as a child. Later on, when the Kryptonians come to Earth and their armor gets removed, they are affected the same way he was as a child.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
it's a setup.
So now we're back to the present, and he gets out of the water, and this is where he steals the laundry.
And this is to a needle drop called Seasons by Chris Cornell. And I fucking love that song. It just fits.
I feel like if the Aquaman movie was either in the planning at this time or had been made before Man of Steel, he would have come out of the water at the lighthouse.
Oh, maybe.
I thought that would have been an interesting tie-in. Just not even show Aquaman or anybody, but just have him walk by the lighthouse.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he walks into town, steals some laundry.
And he looks, and he's staring at a school bus. And bam, we're back to another flashback where he's being bullied on a school bus as a kid.
Well, I don't know if he's necessarily being bullied. The kid who's doing it
Pete
ends
Ross.
up to be Pete Ross, right?
Yeah, but
And I like, what does he call him? Assmack or Assface or something?
he sure wasn't being nice about it.
And Lana's like, leave him alone. And then naturally, do you notice there's a lot of snap zooms where you're looking at something and then all of a sudden you're zooming in?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of that in this film. And there's a bit here. And the bus goes over the bridge into the water.
Did it feel like some of these flashbacks were in the wrong order?
No.
The reason why I bring that up is later on when Clark is being bullied by those 3 jocks or whatever like that, whatever it was, that would have been a good one to be right before he gets bullied at the bar to explain why he didn't fight back against that bully. Because that's when, Jonathan Kent gives him the whole speech of who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? And then he gets bullied by the guy in the bar, and that would explain why he didn't fight back.
You know.
Okay.
No. This flashback sets up. I think that this flashback was meant to set up the relationship between Jonathan and Clark, and the bus goes in the water, and he saves all the kids, and then Pete's mom is at the Ken's house,
Right.
Well, it's the importance of staying hidden at this point.
and she's like, "This is a miracle, Jonathan," and I like how Martha's like, "You might be over exaggerating a little bit."
Well, the other thing too, this also calls out, Jonathan's whole thing of, he asked his dad, was I supposed to just let them all die? And he's like, yes, no, I don't know.
He says maybe.
When Jonathan is talking to Clark outside, because he's sitting on the swing and they're having that conversation. The second time, because the piano music starts again, and it takes me, oh my God, this is so good.
And then he says, "Did God make me this way? Am I weird?" And Jonathan's like, "Okay, it's time." And he takes him down to the cellar,
Yep.
shows him his ship,
Yep.
tells him that he took the thing to get the metal analyzed and they couldn't figure it out. And he says, "This is just another way of saying that it's not of this earth, which means that you are the answer, Clark. You are the answer to the question, are we alone?"
This was my third, I think, issue with this movie, which is how did Martha and Jonathan get the ship from wherever it crashed to down inside their farm
That's an issue.
in the barn? Yeah. How would they by themselves, without anybody else seeing or anybody else knowing, they got it all the way themselves to that barn?
At night, using a tractor.
I don't know. It just seemed
No,
very
if
far-fetched.
if he can't see it happening, then there is no possible way of anything happening.
Yeah.
So, interesting thing to get hung up on.
We get a great line right here. Can't I just keep pretending that I'm your son?
"You are my son," and he pulls him in, and Costner and this kid fucking nail it. And I'm with you, Professor, every single fucking time. And then
We're back into the present day, and Clark, he's working in a pub, and there is a little shenanigans that starts happening between a customer and the waitress.
now this is one that I have a hang up on.
I've got a little bit one too, but go on.
He gets bullied and he gets beer thrown on. But my favorite bit is when the dude tries to push him and he doesn't move.
Which reminded me of the diner scene from, was it number 2?
Oh yeah. Yeah. When the bully's picking on him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good call.
Right at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And the middle. And, finally the waitress is like, "Don't worry about it, bud. He's not worth it." And then in the meantime, there's 2 military guys in there that Clark is listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And then he happens to jump in because one of the customers is harassing this one chick.
Yeah, the military guys are talking about that spaceship that they found.
And so when later that evening, when the dude leaves, his truck is impaled on all of his wood. And then the first thing, even when we saw it, the first thing I thought was, how did nobody hear that?
I thought that too, but my other thought was, this is a restaurant that they probably do have some rowdy people have, from time to time. It wouldn't be uncommon for like the owner to say, throw his ass out of here. And they need a bouncer to bounce him out. So Clark could have just thrown his ass out.
Yeah, he's a dishwasher. I don't think the dishwasher has clout to throw anybody
He's
out.
big enough.
I was curious why there was nobody around the truck staring at it.
Yeah. And how nobody heard it.
Well, the thing with that was, you notice there was 2 power lines or whatever that were crisscrossed through the truck. Wouldn't that have affected the power? Or
No, those were that was
telephone lines?
No, that was the wood that the truck was hauling.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that,
Yeah.
because it looked like there was electricity or something.
It was because it was like leaning up against a power line. He hit a power line,
Okay.
but yeah.
And of course, he then just ventures off. He goes on to his next place. Oh, actually, no. This because of what he overheard from the military guys. That's right. What he overheard from the military guys tells him he needs to go up to Canada and find that ship because that might have something to do with his origin.
Years later, Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane is sent to investigate a mysterious alien spacecraft discovered in the Arctic. Clark, working nearby under an assumed identity, enters the Kryptonian scout ship and activates an AI modeled after Jor-El. He finally learns the truth. He was sent to Earth to guide humanity and become something greater. When Lois is injured in the ship's defenses, Clark reveals his powers to save her. He dons a Kryptonian suit provided by the ship and begins to embrace who he is. But Earth isn't alone anymore. Zod and his followers escape the Phantom Zone and arrive on Earth. Zod demands that Kal-El surrenders himself, claiming he must use the codex within Clark's DNA to rebuild Krypton. Clark turns himself over to Zod to protect humanity. Zod reveals his plan. Use powerful terraforming machines called world engines to transform Earth into a new Krypton, wiping out humanity in the process. Realizing Zod will never stop, Clark escapes with Lois, destroys the world engine in the Indian Ocean, and battles Zod's forces in Smallville. The U.S. military assists, sending Zod's crew back into the Phantom Zone, but Zod himself remains. So this is where we get Lois.
Yep, we cut to Lois, and she's stepping off of a helicopter.
And the army is like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here till tomorrow.
But she also reveals that she's kind of there in a hostile way, that basically because it was in Canada and because of some lawsuit, they have to let her be there.
Yeah, yeah.
But we also meet like Emil for the first time, the scientist, and he's big in the comic books. He's a buddy of Superman in the comic books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's the main scientist works at Star Laboratories in the comic books.
But not after the third act. And so, Lois is there to investigate the ship, whatnot. And it's later that night, and she goes out to take a picture. And I like before she does that, I like what the fucking army dude, the colonel, he says, don't go out wandering too far. We won't find your body until spring.
Well, I like also, what do I have to do? Or what do I do if I have to tinkle? We'll put a bucket in the corner.
And so she's outside taking some snaps, and she just so happens to see Clark walking.
Well, I thought it was funny is not only does she see him walking, but isn't he just wearing like a t-shirt or something in the Arctic?
Well, he is Superman.
Yeah, but that's obviously strange for her.
Oh, sure. But I like how she talks to herself. Where are you going? And then we cut to Clark, which I thought was ingenious. I didn't even think about this the first time I saw it. He's walking through a wall of ice, but he's using his heat vision to carve his tunnel. I thought that was brilliant. I don't know why. So he reaches the ship.
And he inserts the command key.
Well, he's first attacked by one of the little protection drones or whatever.
And then once he inserts the key, the drone backs down. He's like, okay. And then he sees Jor-El every once in a while, right? Popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, oh, Okay.
In the
It's like the crystals, but different.
Yeah, hologram.
in the meantime, Lois, she's now entering the tunnel.
She's following him.
Yep. And Jor-El, he leads Clark along, and he is explaining more or less what has happened with him, Krypton, and Zod.
I'm your absentee father.
Yeah. And then Lois trips an alarm, gets attacked, and then Clark has to save her.
No.
And he says, you're bleeding internally. I can fix you.
It's gonna really hurt.
And I like that bit because he's honest with her, right? And so he cauterizes the wound with his eyes and drops her off, and he takes the ship and takes off. And then when he lands, he's talking to Jor-El. And Jor-El's like, here's the history of Krypton.
Here's another one of my little issues. Now, maybe this ship, for some reason, isn't trackable or whatever, but with satellites and with the army watching and everything, they would have been able to follow that ship wherever he took it.
Unless it has a cloaking device.
Yeah, it didn't look like it because it was just there. I mean, they would have watched it on the satellite. Did you ever see it disappear or go invisible?
No.
So I think they could have followed it to wherever he dropped it off.
Well, then why didn't they?
That's another question. That's another little issue I have with this movie.
We have Lois. She's monologuing. She's reading her article to Perry, and Perry's like, "I can't print this, Lois.
You might have hallucinated half of it." I like their banter back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lois, she's not having it. She's gonna leak it.
Yep. And so she meets an online leaker.
The internet guy, yeah.
Yep. And he releases the story.
And then we're back to Jor-El and Clark. And Clark, he's getting some of his questions answered by Jor-El.
Yeah. I like this moment because it's very reminiscent to the 78 version. It's just not crystals and, flying through space, but it's ultimately the same scene.
We also get the introduction of the suit. What do you guys think of the new Superman suit?
Honey, where is my super suit?
Why? Why do you need it? I said, I liked it. I missed the red on the outside. I'm a purist, but I think for the time and in 2003, it looked good.
13.
Although I would have liked the yellow S on the back of the cape.
My issue with it, and this was kind of an issue I think at the time for all the DC movies, everything was so muted. The colors were so toned down.
Oh yeah,
that the suit was very toned down.
That's Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
that's what you get when you get Zack Snyder. Think of 300. Think of Watchmen. Think of all everything's muted, and that kind of brought me down a little bit. But what picked me up was the score.
I think that, he likes the muted colors of the movie. He should have had the opportunity here to really make this suit stand out. It would have been such a standout had it been the only bright thing in the movie.
Yeah, they do brighten it up in Justice League,
yeah.
and I appreciated that. But that was Joss Whedon. So there you go. I really enjoy his first flight.
Oh, yeah.
And what is it that does it?
It's the score.
Oh my God. It lifts when he lifts. And one of my favorite parts about this Superman is when he hits his sonic boom, you can hear it and it coincides with the score. And
the music's just so good here.
So good.
Do you know what I really appreciated about this?
What's that, buddy?
The original Superman, when he was first came out, he couldn't fly. He jumped.
Yeah.
He did super leaps.
Right. Yep.
So that was the whole point of these leaps was kind of paying homage to the first Superman.
Oh, yes, very much so. And I like the part where he takes that, like the second leap, and he like pushes forward, and he realizes he can fly, and that look of joy he gets on his face, and then he crashes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the score settles. We get a soft piano. The ground starts rumbling, and then boom, he's fucking gone. It's good. It's a good first flight for a Superman movie.
We are now given a montage of Lois. She is searching for Clark.
She's working backwards through all the stuff we had seen earlier in the movie and all the people we'd seen earlier in the movie to track him back. And they made it look easy, but I'm sure it wasn't as easy as it looked. But she found him out pretty quick.
She's fucking Lois Lane, bro.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the Lois Lane. And I like this part because she's standing at Jonathan's gravesite.
There's one scene right before, which is when she shows up and we get the Kent mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
And then and then she confronts Ma Kent, and I love the look that she gives to Lois.
Yes.
You know,
Like she was going to beat her ass.
Or no, she's kind of weary, like, what the fuck do you want type of a deal.
it's a hard look.
Yes, but ultimately it pays off because then Lois shows up at Jonathan's gravesite.
Right.
And then Clark shows up and she says, "Who are you? Let me tell you your story." And he said, "I don't want my story told." And then he says, well, sooner or later you're going to get found out. And he says, "Well, then I'll just disappear and stop." And she goes, "Unless you're going to stop helping people, I don't think that's going to happen."
Pretty much every time that we're back in Smallville, when it's on the homestead, we get all these lens flares.
Yeah.
And all these lens flares with the music just makes it so gentle at the Kent home.
It's a pretty image. And I'll give credit to Zack for that. Pretty image. And this is also the flashback we get with the bully.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I like when after the bully leaves and everything, when you see Clark let go of the fence, it's all
smashed.
crunched.
And did you catch that? Wasn't Pete Ross there or something? And he looked and saw the fence. Like he obviously knew from the bus Clark was special.
Something, right?
Probably all of his friends had figured it out.
Yeah, and they do in the comic book.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, right? It tracks. But I really like the speech between Jonathan and Clark here when Jonathan says, "Did they hurt you?" And Clark's like, "You know they can't." And he's like, "Well, you know what I meant."
My favorite line of that was, "I really wanted to hit him." And his father was like, "I kind of wanted you to do it too."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And it was a wonderful turn to see Pete Ross there lending his hand to help him up.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the cemetery and Clark's like, my father said that the world isn't ready for me. They wouldn't accept me. And then we cut to them driving down the road.
They're arguing about his future.
Yeah. I don't like the way they get rid of Jonathan Kent in this.
there's so many issues, and most people who even are fans of this movie will say this was what hurt the movie, which was one, a tornado just touching down like that. There would have been warnings. People would have been, there'd been sirens going off, things like that. People would have known that a tornado was likely in that area at that time. Second thing is, one of the worst things you can do is go hide underneath an overpass during a tornado.
Right. And so the writers were like, we have to kill Jonathan in order to make this sacrifice.
He's the Uncle Ben. He has to die so that Superman can...
Well, he dies in the 78 version and he dies in Smallville. I think, isn't he still alive in the comic books?
In the new 52 version that they did, yes, they kept him alive.
Yeah. So, I mean, what to do with Jonathan Kent, who knows?
But here's one
and he's alive in the new Superman, too. So,
yeah. Here's one of my issues. First of all, Superman, Clark Kent is fast. He probably could have done stuff without people even noticing. Second of all, as soon as, they had the choice of, we need to save this people and we need to go get the dog. Because, well, Pa, I'll go get the dog. No. You take the girl back to the underpass. I'll go get the dog. Why didn't he just send Clark to go get the dog?
Because in case Clark used his powers.
I think people would have been so freaked out they wouldn't even have noticed what was going on with Clark.
Well,
they were all heading towards the overpass.
Well, it doesn't matter because it happened the way it happened.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I think we're kind of on the same case.
Yeah.
But even though I don't agree with it, this moment is heartbreaking. What sells it for me is Cavill's scream at the end. It's kind of rough. And Kevin Costner. Man.
Yeah. Third time
Yeah, there it is.
And the whole thing with the hand going up to stop him, and then you see the smoke come through
and
or whatever, and he just disappears.
You're just kind of like, God damn it, Jonathan Kent. And then we cut back, and somehow Clark has talked Lois into not running the story. And we cut back to the Daily Planet, and Lois is in deep shit because she leaked the story. And Perry's like, motherfuckers want me to sue you.
Yeah, 2 weeks without pay. Okay, then 3 weeks without pay.
Perry!
she drops it just like that.
And she said, yeah, my story is bullshit.
And I like how he does say, I believe you saw something, but whatever the reason is for you dropping it, I think you made the right call.
You also get the impression, especially I think here, that Perry's not just about reporting the news. He's about reporting it responsibly and the effect that will have on people, because he says people aren't ready for something like this. They aren't ready to know that there's life out there or life out in the universe.
Who does he sound like?
Jor-El?
Jonathan Kent.
Mm.
So, yeah. And Fishburne's just presence exudes that without them having to say it. You're right.
So we have Clark. He arrives back at the homestead. Cue the piano. Mom, I found them. My parents.
That's great, honey. Did you notice the logo that was on the truck that dropped him off?
LexCorp.
LexCorp. And so, yeah, he's like, yeah. And then mom's like, a reporter dropped by and he's like, she's all right. She's all right.
You got the impression too, I think, from some of the stuff that she says, which goes back to like several different versions of Martha, which is she's not ready to share him with the world. And she knows that now that he knows all this and knows his purpose, she's now going to have to share him with the world.
And she kind of cries and she kind of gets upset about it, right? She says she talks about that moment when you were a baby and I used to listen to you breathe, the piano. It gets me.
Fourth time here.
Well,
yeah.
And you bring up a good point because she brings up the fact that he struggled to breathe and that was the whole idea of his Kryptonian biology couldn't deal with the Earth atmosphere, which comes back when the Kryptonians come to Earth. They can't deal with the atmosphere and Clark can't deal with the atmosphere up on the Kryptonian ship.
Right. And so Clark reassures her. He says, I'm not going anywhere. And if you think about it, I mean, who's going to fuck with Superman? Really? Because we don't know about the other Kryptonians yet. So really, who on Earth could fuck with Superman?
Lex.
Well, that's not until the second film. And that's not even a good Lex.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm disappointed in you liking that film.
No.
Anyways.
I'd say
No. Not now. Not now.
When we review that
and
movie.
So
please and thank you, people. Put it in the helmet.
Put what in the helmet?
Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
There you go. And so it's later that night, and everybody's kind of doing their thing. And
this is where we meet General Swanwick.
Yep.
What am I looking at?
And I like how he says, "Is it a comet?" And Emil goes,
"Comets don't make course corrections." He says, "Whoever's at the helm of that thing is looking to make a dramatic entrance." Cut to Lois at the copier. Alert is flashing on the copier.
And then the gal who works there, who was supposedly a female version of Jimmy Olsen, says, "You didn't hear? Look." And here comes Zod.
And the power goes off, like in a lot of different places and at the Kent house and everything. And then the TV comes on.
People are completely gobsmacked.
And Zod's like, "You guys aren't alone. We're from another planet. You've been letting one of our citizens take refuge here. We want him back.
And you have 24 hours.
And if any of you know who he is, the world rests in your hands." And immediately Perry looks at Lois and Lois looks at Perry, and I'm sure Lois is like, "Oh, fuck."
My first thought was when Perry looked at Lois and thought, maybe I should have run with that story.
Yeah, maybe. But no, but then they'd be on the hook. And then we cut to the next day, and Clark goes to church. A lot of religious ties in here.
Well, L is actually means God.
Yeah.
We covered that, I think, in the 1978 review.
I don't know if we did. But hey, and he goes into the priest, and the priest is like, "What can I help you with?" And I like it. He just so nonchalantly says, "You know the person or the alien everybody's looking for? That's me."
I love how he takes that big gulp. You see, it was Adam's apple.
Like, uh-oh. And then they start talking about, Clark's like, "Should I turn myself in?"
And Jesus is right over his shoulder.
Right over his shoulder. And he says, "Zod can't be trusted. That's what my gut says, but I'm not sure the people of Earth can be trusted either." And he gets up, and then the priest says, such wise words. Sometimes it's just a leap of faith. The trust part comes later. Cut 2.
It's the Superman reveal. 1 hour, 10 minutes into the movie. Here we have Superman introducing himself to the world.
What'd you guys think of this whole bit?
I thought he looked so great when he was up in the sky floating.
I like when he says, "Don't play games with me, General. I'll come quietly. Just do what I want." And all he wants is to talk to Lois.
Well, we had seen a little bit earlier Lois getting arrested because of the internet article. They know she has ties to this alien and that she might know where he is. So they've taken her in. And he basically says, "I'll come in, but you let her go."
Yep. And so they're talking. And then
I love how he's handcuffed and walking with the handcuffs on. That's not doing nothing.
Well, she even says it. You let them handcuff you? And he's like, well, if it makes them feel secure. And then we get into the whole, why are you wearing an S? It's not S, it's Hope. And she's about to name him because that's what we were all waiting for, was Lois to name him. And she goes, well, how about Soup? And then the intercom comes in.
Do you know they only say Superman once in this whole movie?
Twice.
I do like the way that they wrap up the S talk. Well, here, it's just an S.
Yeah, it's just so matter of fact. And I like when he stands up, he just unbreaks the cuffs like they were nothing.
Yep. And he talks to them through the two-way or the one-way mirror.
Yeah.
And he even says, yeah, and you got a lifesavers in your pocket, and I can see your badge.
And all those guards behind you with the tranks, you're not going to need them. But let's talk about it, right? And he says, I'm not your enemy. And Stanwyck says, well, who is? Zod? He says, that's what I'm afraid of. He says, well, be that as it may, my orders are to hand you over. So cut to outside again. And I like this moment because Clark looks at Lois and he says, thank you. And she says, for what? And he says, for believing in me. I was like, oh, you got the fucking piano again. Fuck you, Hans Zimmer, making me cry. And then Zod shows up.
Well, Feora shows up with her group and basically says, we want Lois too.
And the colonel's like, we gave you the alien. We never said anything about one of ours. And Fiora's like, should I tell the general you're not complying? He's like, I don't give a fuck what you say.
Originally in the comic books, that was her name. She got changed to Ursa just for the Superman 2 movie. And then it went back to Fiora.
Uh-huh.
So they're taken to Zod, and Superman is forced to adapt to their atmosphere.
Which I thought was a nice little twist. And
he wakes up and he's in an Earth atmosphere now.
And he's having a conversation with Zod.
And Zod tells his side of the story on what happened to him and how they came to be here on Earth.
Yeah, they're in some kind of like dream sequence thing.
And so this goes along with one of the problems I have with this film is over narrating. I feel like they spoon feed us way too much in this film, and it takes time. You know, this is 2 hours and 23 minutes of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think that they over explain a lot. But the visual is cool, right?
They've been buried in skulls and stuff.
And Clark is in the black outfit.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one he wears after he comes back from being dead. And I like when, Zod's telling him his plan, we're going to wipe out the human race. We need a place for Krypton. We're going to rebuild on its ashes, blah, blah, blah. And Clark's like, I can't be a part of it. And Zod's very nonchalant says, well, what can you be a part of? Which I thought was kind of diabolical. But it's a dream. Mm-hmm. And he wakes up and he's strapped to the chair or the table and he can't break it. And this is where they're saying, hey, you're fucked.
Zod tells Clark that he did kill his father.
And not a day goes by that it doesn't haunt me.
Yeah.
So you get the impression, like I said, he's kind of a tragic villain. He's programmed to be this asshole.
Yeah, it doesn't make him any less of an asshole.
No, I agree.
So
we have Lois. She is detained in custody and she's locked in this room. And what's this?
Well, before all this goes down, Clark gives her the key.
Right.
Yeah. And I like that moment because she looks at him and he just kind of shakes his head like, whatever. But it just shows you he trusts her right off the bat. And that's important for a Lois and Clark arc. And so you're right. She puts in the key and then out pops Jor-El. How does Jor-El know it's Lois?
How the fuck? I don't know.
Well, the only thing that I could think of was obviously she was trusted with the key, so he's going to trust her. But yeah, doesn't he call her by Lois?
Yeah, no, that's my point. That's my question. How does he know that it's absolutely Lois?
Maybe
Isn't he an AI?
Maybe it's because she was on the previous ship when he was plugged into the previous ship, and so he was able to facial recognize her with the internet and know all about her.
Huh. Okay. And so, yeah, he maneuvers through the ship, helps her out. He takes over the command, blah, blah, blah. He reverses the atmospheric blue blah so Clark can get his strength back.
Mojo.
I love watching him as Lois is running along and he keeps appearing a little bit further. I love this moment.
I like how he just basically says, behind you, to your left.
Yep, move your
as the
head to the
doors
left.
open.
Fire your weapon to the right. Fire.
So
Boom.
casually.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. And then I like how he does say, get in this pod. It's very unlikely we will ever see each other again. So good luck. And he ships her off to Earth. And then he shows up to Cal. And first thing Cal asks him a question. Is it true about Zod and Krypton and blah, blah, blah. And the first thing out of Jor-El's mouth is, strike that panel. Because he hits it and then the whole side of the ship just takes off.
You can save her, Cal. You can save all of them. And I'm thinking, what about the command key? We don't see Lois take it.
No, you don't. Do you?
No.
Okay. Well, we have to assume that she has it because she has it later.
So he saves Lois at the last second. And Zod, he wants Clark's ship that he arrived to Earth in. And they get there, and you can go to hell. And the Codex is not there.
Well, I like when Zod and Fiora and everything are doing stuff on the farm, and Superman is with Lois. He senses something or he hears something, and he's like, I am out of here.
Yeah, he hears it. And he immediately latches onto Zod.
That's one of my favorite scenes where he's punching Zod saying, you do not threaten my mother.
Yeah. He's like, you fucked up, bud.
You think you could threaten my mother?
And this leads us to the battle at Smallville. A lot of fucking carnage.
I feel like at least 1,000 people died in that one.
I mean,
come on. They lost an IHOP.
Yeah, and a Sears.
And I feel like Pete Ross lost his job.
Maybe until they rebuild it. But the army's coming in, and they're like, who the fuck do we fire on? And they're like, fire on everybody. And it isn't until Superman saves a couple of people and does this, that, and the other after the end of the fight, the colonel's like, this guy's not our enemy. Right. And so it's like their first acceptance of Superman.
I will say of all the different Superman movies, and maybe even a lot of the DCEU movies, this is some of the best fight sequence choreography. Even though a lot of it's CGI, I thought it was some good fight scenes.
I liked how when Superman Returns came out, you know what Kevin Smith said about it? Superman doesn't throw one punch. And now we get all of the punches made up for it in this one. And so, yeah, they go toe to toe. I mean, it's kind of fucked up that they destroy this entire fucking town fighting. You would think that Superman wanting to protect people would maybe lead the fight somewhere else, like he does in number 2. Well, but there's a lot of destruction. It's a pretty good looking fight. And fully CG.
Zack Snyder did kind of defend this movie in that regards because there was a lot of complaints about Superman not trying to protect life a lot in this movie, is that he had not at this point developed that need to protect life as much as he does in later movies. It's the eventual killing of Zod that kind of sets him up to want to not kill anymore. Because you notice he was so upset later on about what happened with Zod, yet here he's trying to kill all the Kryptonians that he's fighting. I mean, he's pushing a guy's face through walls, and he's having no problem trying to kill him here.
I don't know if he's trying to kill anybody. He's just trying not to die himself.
We see General Zod also, his helmet is damaged, and we see that he is now susceptible to the Earth atmosphere like Superman was up in the Kryptonian atmosphere.
Right.
And it happens to Fiora as well, too.
Yeah, later on it does. Yeah.
I love the 2 warthogs when they come in with their guns, and the first warthog, it's taken out, and then the second warthog, here comes Fiora. Oh, shit. You know, he sees her coming, he's like, oh, shit. But Superman, bam.
Yeah, gets her.
This is where she delivers that line about death is a good reward or whatever is in.
After the bird goes down.
And so Superman saves the day, and
but he is getting bitch slapped.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know how to fight yet.
Yeah,
that I'll believe. I'll buy.
So yeah, and then through the wreckage and all the carnage, the soldiers and Superman emerges, and we have that moment that you mentioned a few moments ago. This man is not our enemy. And
so Superman goes back home to check on his ma. And Ma's okay. And then Lois shows up saying that she knows how to beat him because whilst she was up on the ship, Jor-El told her,
will you help me?
Yeah. And the plan is to take Superman's ship that he arrived in, turned it into a Phantom Drive, and crash it into one of the world engines and send the crew back to the Phantom Zone.
We have a moment where Zod is told that the Codex is living in Superman's cells. Does Cal need to be alive for us to extract the Codex from his cells?
No, he doesn't.
Release the world engine.
Well, this is also, too, when Zod goes to deal with Jor-El. I think it was at this point. And this kind of shows where, Zod has been complaining that he's been kind of forced to do all this, but he kind of says the dick move of, can he feel the pain of losing his son or whatever he says?
He starts by saying, I have to go pay respects to a friend. And then he goes in and starts talking shit. And Jor-El's like, dude, my son is twice the man you'll ever be. And then, tell me, AI, can you feel his pain? And he deletes him. So bye-bye, Jor-El. And now Zod has control of that scout ship with all of the Matrix babies in it.
And so Zod, he arrives in Metropolis, and they begin their terraforming. And we are told by Dr. Hamilton about what's happening, the transformation to the planet. And what about us?
Well, if these readings are correct, there won't be in us. And so you have two ships on either side of the planet, and they're terraforming. And Superman comes to the air base and says, General, we have a plan.
We're going to use the Phantom Zone.
The Phantom Drive of his
Right.
ship to send them back to the Phantom Zone. But I got to stop that other thing in the Indian Ocean. So Superman goes one way, and the rest of the team goes the other way.
So Zod, he hones, and he's learning to control his human atmosphere effects. And so he's adapting surprisingly quickly.
Well, he's been trained all of his life to be able to control his senses. And that's why supposedly he adapts so much faster.
So Superman makes it to the Indian Ocean.
To the world engine.
Yep. And did all those claws and everything remind you of the Matrix?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wish movies would move past that, and it still happens today in a lot of movies. The robot thing, and I mean, it's just all Matrixy, and come on, guys.
So, yeah, Superman's got his hands full. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, they have the C-17 and all the fighter jets going in, but none of the missiles can lock.
And utter destruction to Metropolis. You know what I mean? And this is and Zod and Superman haven't even fought yet. And there's just total destruction. And so there's chaos all over the streets. Perry and the rest of the city leave their buildings. They're running on the streets, this, that, and the other.
Superman's having a tough go at it. He's getting another bitch slapping.
And now fucking Fiora shows up on the C-17. And the key's not working. Right? Naturally. The key can't work right at first. But Emil kind of looks at it, tilts his head, puts it back together.
Solves the puzzle.
The key goes in, it turns on. But in the meantime, Superman's got to shut this fucking thing off. So he musters up all of his energy, all of his strength. And this is one of those Scream moments again where he's really pushing it.
Yep.
And with the music, I like how he flies right through it and it blows up.
Sets off a chain reaction with the other one.
And he's done his part of the deal. And now it's time for Lois and team to do it as well.
I thought it was convenient that, Fiora's on the ship and she's going for the guy, and he recites the line back to her of, a good death is a great,
Its own reward.
Its own reward. Did you feel like there's a little chemistry between the two of them?
Kind of, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they might have wanted to get down.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go by your rationale, Fiora hadn't ever had any.
Yeah.
So, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, they're both soldiers.
But anyway, I thought it was convenient that Lois just falls out of the ship.
Well, he does tip it, and she does kind of fall out.
Yeah, she falls out, and so she's the only one to survive on that ship.
In the meantime, you also have Zod. He's showing up, and he's going to be shooting down that military plane. But Superman shows up at the last second, and he's like, "Stop! If you destroy this ship, you destroy Krypton."
And Cal's reply?
Krypton had its chance.
Laser beams the fucking ship, and there goes that plot point. Superman saved the day there.
And then we have Hamilton. He takes that plane and crashes it right into it, and Zod's ship gets sucked into the opening of the Phantom Zone, and conveniently, as Lois is falling yet again, who shows up?
The Man of Steel. And I like this because as he's flying, it's trying to pull him in, and he's trying to break through. And just the look on Lois's face as she's looking behind him, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. And so there we go. And then all of a sudden, bam, they're back into the Phantom Zone. And so Lois is falling. Superman spots her, and then they finally kiss.
And she says something like, the first kiss, it's all downhill from there. And of course, Superman has to joke, I think it only counts when you're kissing a human. And the people from the Daily Planet, you have Perry and Jenny, and she's like, he totally saved us. So they're starting to, maybe this is a good dude.
But it's not quite over with because we still have to deal with Zod. And so Superman and Zod, they chat.
With his dream of restoring Krypton destroyed, Zod vows revenge. The final battle between Clark and Zod tears through Metropolis in a massive city-leveling confrontation. Zod, fully adapted to Earth's atmosphere, matches Clark's strength. As the destruction escalates, Clark is forced into the impossible choice. When Zod threatens innocent civilians and refuses to stop, Clark ultimately kills him, choosing humanity over his own kind. In the aftermath, the world begins to process what it has witnessed. The alien savior is no longer a myth. Clark negotiates a cautious understanding with the U.S. government. He will act independently but stand with humanity. To stay connected to the world he's chosen, he's taken a job at the Daily Planet as Clark Kent, quietly beginning his dual life. And with that, the world is introduced to Superman. Roll credits.
Welcome to the planet. One of the things I thought was interesting was the idea that, as Superman's kind of assessing everything after everything got sucked into the Phantom Zone, here he sees Zod sitting in the ashes. And my thought was, what's to stop other Kryptonians from probably not being on the ship, and maybe they're around as well. So maybe that's going to come back.
Okay, Superman versus Zod. What'd you think?
The level of destruction is, oh my gosh, I thought it was over the top for World Police, This is like 10 times that.
Yeah. It kind of took me out of it a little bit.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, what took me out of it was that at one point they fly up to space during their fight. And what do they do? They come back down to Metropolis. He could have gone anywhere else in the world and fought him, but no. They take them right back into the danger zone,
Yeah, I thought it was over the top. There were a couple of cool moments in said fight, but overall, it was just a third act fatigue for me. This movie is already running long, and the Battle of Smallville was exhausting.
Yeah,
and so
and
now
this is more than that
because you have the whole world engine and that bit, and it's just a lot.
Toppling buildings. Superman, when he's taking that hit, and he goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings.
And they're not just little explosions. I mean, the whole side of the building is blowing out.
Did it feel like the culmination of him having to kill Zod in this? Did it feel like the classic older superhero movies where the villain always has to die in the end?
No, I have a problem with Superman killing Zod in the first place. So, why didn't Superman just cover his eyes?
I thought that too.
Why didn't the family fucking run? They stand there and cower. Why didn't Superman pick him up and fly out of there? Why didn't Superman do anything other than kill him?
He had to end the fight at that point. He knew that even if he fought him outside, he was still going to go and kill. He said he's going to kill like 1 million people.
Sure, but then you take care of him somewhere else. You take him out. I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you kill him. But he does kill Zod, snaps his neck. You see the shockwave go when he snaps his neck. And kind of what I guess doesn't completely ruin it for me is his reaction. Like, what the fuck have I done? Or, you know what I mean? He realizes at that moment that he's taken a life. And Lois comes in and comforts him. But all of that fucking destruction.
So, next scene, we have General Swanwick, and he's stopped by a crashing surveillance drone right in front of him. And Superman's there, and they chat.
And he says, look, dude, quit trying to find out where I hang my cape. I'm on your side, but we're going to do it my way. And if you don't like it, good luck in stopping me.
Are you effing stupid?
Yeah. I just think he's kind of hot.
I love the hand gesture bit that he gives, trying to convince Congress, that he's one of them. I grew up in Kansas.
Yeah.
When he puts his arm up.
Yeah. I'm about as American as you can get, so, which he's not wrong. And so we cut to Jonathan's grave, and Ma and Clark are talking, and she says how you would be so proud. And this is another moment. You get the piano.
Fifth time.
The little kid is wearing the cape.
Oh my God.
Jonathan just kind of watches him and it's a moment. It's definitely a moment.
More lens flare.
Yeah. And Martha's like, what are you going to do now? And he goes, well, I need to get a job where I can keep my nose to the ground. People don't question where I want to go somewhere dangerous. And so he's going to become a reporter at
the Daily Planet.
I like the twist in this. Normally he's got this dual identity, and so Lois knows him as Clark, but doesn't know him as Superman and all that. From the start, from the go here, she knows he's Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like that twisted, and I was kind of interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, where could it go? She ultimately marries him, right? So, and then we get the, Perry brings him in. Lois introduces herself, and she says, welcome to the planet. And then we cut to Man of Steel, that score going.
Yep.
It ended very much like the Batman's end.
Oh, yeah.
From Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Or any Christopher Nolan movie, really.
Yeah.
Title at the end, score, credits.
Just big.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the Man of Steel. All right, what do you guys think? You guys are ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. How about you, John? Are you ready to rate this flick?
It's either that or I show you where my codex is hidden.
Hey, Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we think is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and you're thinking, I am never watching this again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is you get done watching it, you turn to your buddy and you're like, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me watch? I want 2 hours and 23 minutes of my life back.
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck. All right, who would like to go first?
I think you should go first. Or maybe you should go last because you are such a Superman.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
All right, I'll go first.
All right, hit us.
Man of Steel is a really solid Superman movie. It totally bowled me over the first time with the feels. Kevin Costner, the score in this, oh my God. And watching it again for the pod, same. I am just... And I really enjoyed Henry Cavill as Superman. He is great in this. Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams, she was a delight as well. I think that the movie is a little too long, but it's still a really good movie. The destruction, it was over the top, but I'm okay with it in a particular way because it's a byproduct of General Zod, and General Zod is a total dick. And because he's a total dick, he couldn't care less about the carnage and destruction that he's having happen anywhere that he goes. It's not Superman's fault. He's in the way from what General Zod wants. And so it's like, well, all right, I can kind of sort of grudgingly accept it. But in general, I think that this is a good Superman story arc, and it has some wonderful flying scenes in it that I really appreciated. And it's got some humor to it. And I really enjoyed the relationship that we get to see with Clark and his parents. I think that's probably my favorite part of the movie is Clark with his parents. And it pulls the movie up that much more for me. In general, I think that this movie is a 4.25 fuck movie.
4.25 fucks from the Professor. Me or you there, guy?
I can go next, but before I do,
Yes, sir.
what am I giving this movie?
You're going to give The Man of Steel 3.5 fucks.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Okay.
What'd you say, 3.5?
Sir, yes, sir.
Man of Steel delivers a strong physical and emotional presence from Henry Cavill, who looks and feels like Superman. While his portrayal captures the heart of the character, the story surrounding him feels underwhelming and filled with frustrating choices. As a big fan of Superman and Superman 2, I hoped by rewatching this movie it might change my mind, but some of the decisions made in this movie still bother me. That said, the score by Hans Zimmer is fantastic. The action and the fight scenes are impressive. The film has heart, but for me, the story keeps it from truly soaring. It's for those reasons I'm giving Man of Steel 3.5 out of 5 fucks.
Bam, nailed it. Back on track, boys. I thought the Man of Steel was a good attempt at rebooting the character. After the bad taste of Superman Returns, I was hoping for anything better than that, and this certainly was. It is long. There are some things that work against it. For me, it's the over narration throughout the entire film. It's the runtime. It's the, we'll call it carnage fatigue by the end of the film. And it just goes on for a little bit too long. That being said, I thought that Henry Cavill was a delight as Superman. I thought he was better than Brandon Routh. Nobody in my eyes up until now can replace Christopher Reeve. So that's just that. But Henry Cavill gave it a go. And like I said earlier, I would have liked to have seen where else we could have gone with him in the DECU. Though I didn't like Dawn of Justice, I did like the 4-hour cut of the Justice League. So there is that. Hans Zimmer saves this movie with the score. I'm with you, Professor. The bits with the Kents as a family and the piano, fucking tears every single time. This movie is a good movie, though a bit long. It's not the worst Superman, and it's not the best Superman. I'm giving the Man of Steel 3.75 fucks. With 4.25 fucks from the Professor, 3.5 fucks from the Comic Book Guy, and 3.75 fucks from myself, which now gives the Man of Steel an average of 3.8 fucks, which now puts it in the 15th spot, tied with Psycho, Super 8, Step Brothers, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Silver Linings Playbook, Inglourious Bastards, True Lies, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and What Dreams May Come. It is slightly better than The Cabin in the Woods, Booksmart, Lost Boys, Fallen, The Blues Brothers, Hell or High Water, Fight Club, Reservoir Dogs, The Hunt for Red October, and The Usual Suspects. And it is slightly worse than Arrival, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Happy Gilmore, The Suicide Squad, Moonrise Kingdom, The Descent, and From Dusk Till Dawn. So there you have it, boys. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out their website. Speaking of which, hey, John, where can they find us?
They can find us at 3guysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post all of our movies. You can find our show notes there, and there's a web form. You can submit a movie to go into the Bronco helmet and have us review. You can also find us at all of social media, where on Tuesdays, I've been posting what movie is coming out on that following Thursday. And you can find us at any place that hosts podcasts. In fact, while you're listening to us, make sure to subscribe so you can know when the new movie reviews are released, as well as, in the comments, if you'd like, submit a movie you'd like us to review.
Speaking of comments, what do we got?
We have a couple of comments this week. The first one comes from Death Angel, who is requesting the movie Wrecking Crew. I don't know if I've heard of that one.
Jason Momoa and David Bautista on Amazon.
Ooh, that's
and I will just say, adorable.
His comment is, always love listening to you guys. The porn names at the end are my favorite. Keep it up. Boner pun intended.
Thank you, Death Angel. We will be sure to keep it up.
The second comment this week comes from Benny, who is requesting Lady in the Water. And he says, been listening to you guys for at least 3 years now. We grew up on movie nights, and my oldest memory was being at least 6 watching The Thing that you reviewed for me, LOL. So we reviewed one of his movies. Listening to you all takes me back to those times talking with my family about how we felt about the movie. I'll always be listening. Keep them reviews coming.
Well, thank you, Benny, for the kind words. We do appreciate it. I also want to thank Daniel R. for submitting the Man of Steel into the Broncos helmet. We appreciate it. We had a lot of fun watching it and reviewing it. Professor and I had a lot of fun crying during it. We hope you have a lot of fun listening to it. I also want to thank anybody who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
And I'm Ken. Thanks for listening.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, dive into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Don as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops now to shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd. We break it down, make sure you heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know, we always give a fuck, no lie.
They will race behind you. They will stumble.
Wait, I thought you were going to do
The voice?
Yeah.
Every time I did it, you guys were just didn't say anything like, "Oh, that was pretty good." So now I'm very self-conscious about it.
No, I didn't want to put pressure on you.
Now listen to this guy. You will give the people of Earth a... Now I can't do it. Now I'm on the spot. Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where... Sorry.
Need a cigarette? Clear that right up.
Tonight we are talking about Man of Steel. Man of Steel was in the Bronco helmet.
Yep.
Glad to see you were prepared.
Yeah, fuck me, right? Well, not yet. Jonathan's point was the world wasn't ready yet. But he says, she says, God damn it, John.
I don't know what the fuck you were going to say.
God damn it, John. That gives the Man of Steel and Jesus Christ, guy. Why, John? Why do you always do that? They will stumble. They will fall. But they will follow you, Cal. No, I can't do it. All right, what do you got?
I've got a few. What do you have, Professor?
Just one. Man of Wood.
Man of Wood. That's kind of close to what mine is.
My first one was Tang of Steel. As in
Tang?
Poo-Tang of Steel.
Well, if you have to explain it, but I got it. I like that. Tang of Steel. Mine is Cock of Steel.
Pretty good. Yeah. I had Pam of Neil.
Pam of Neil?
Like kneeling.
What's Pam?
I don't know, man. Pam.
Oh, okay, go on.
I had Man of Squeal.
Okay.
Man of Raw Deal.
Huh?
And then kind of my favorite, Man of Copperfield.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. What's the winner?
Man of Copperfield, maybe.
Yeah, how many tissues?
2.
Yeah. I'll give you 2.5 tissues on the Jergen scale for a Copperfield. Man of Copperfield?
Yeah, I'm always in for a Copperfield, so I'm going to go with 2.5 as well.
Nice.
Favorite scene?
In this one, probably, can't we just keep pretending I'm your son?
See, I'm there with you. It's one of the flashbacks.
You
probably.
are my son. And it's just the way he says it.
Yes.
Fuck. You make me cry again.
And may all your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right, fuck off. Good night.
Keep the passion alive.